Blessings, everyone. Michele Granberg here. Welcome to another episode of Positive Energy. This is enlightening television for your evolving soul. Are you curious about veganism? From athletes to celebrities to everyday people, this global shift in the rise of plant-based diets is here to stay. For me personally, veganism is so much more than a food trend. It's making conscious choices that are ethical and do no harm to any living being. In other words, it's a commitment to a kinder, gentler world. Ready to learn more? I'm joined by Susan Adriansen of the Environmental Animal Rights Team of Hoboken. We're going to have a dialogue about what it truly means to be a vegan. Stay tuned, because Positive Energy starts right now. Hey, Susan, so welcome to Positive Energy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Michele.
It's nice to have you here, and I'm excited to talk about veganism, which has really gone mainstream. Being an animal lover and a vegan myself, it just makes sense on so many levels. But I understand takes a long time for people to change their thinking and make actual shifts in the way we've been doing things for such a long time. We've been eating a certain way and killing animals and eating them for a really long time. So let's talk a little bit more about this. Let's talk and start with your story with veganism.
Well, let's see. I've been vegan for 7 years. 1 year prior, I was vegetarian. I became a vegetarian. So no meat for almost a decade, 8 years. Feeling good, not having any issues, not lacking protein, which I don't even know what that name of that disease is, by the way. There is a disease for a lack of protein, but it's only in third world countries. So it was a bit of a transition because I grew up in a meat and potatoes family. My mom actually fed me the deer my brother hunted and killed without telling me. So I had to see the face in the living room, and it bothered me, but I always said, la, 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 don't want to know. And then a few years back, I met somebody who I admired and who was an inspiration to me. And I said, wow, what is this all about? And how can I love animals and eat them? So here I am today.
Yeah, so you were led. You were really led in that particular way. But right from the beginning, it just didn't feel right.
Never felt right.
So define veganism for people who might not be crystal clear about what it is.
Okay. Veganism is not a diet. That's what a lot of people think. It's a way of life. It's a way of life where you respect all animals and you don't consume them or use them or exploit them in any way. That goes from not only meat, dairy, eggs, because those industries are also enslaving animals, but it is also going toward our products. What do we use on our beauty products? I read the labels all the time. Are they cruelty-free? Do they test on animals? And also leather. I stopped wearing leather. My shoes are
Plastic. Leather.
Well, no, I'm proud. I am proud.
Yes.
They're inexpensive, but you can go and you can buy more expensive vegan fashion shoes and pleather goods and that are cruelty-free and made in the U.S. too.
Yeah. And feel really good about that.
Yeah.
So what are the most common misconceptions about veganism?
The first one is, well, there's many, but the first one is protein.
Yeah.
Protein. Well,
That's the go-to argument, yes.
Where do you get your protein? So many of us vegans hear that all the time. It's not that we're annoyed with it, but it's just a little tiring. People say, well, I would go vegan. I totally respect you, but I need my protein. But I don't. So just an FYI, everybody, there are vegan bodybuilders. They exist. Yeah. So protein is sort of bombarded and shoved down our throats by the medical industry and commercials and big restaurants that we need our protein. Yeah. And if you don't mind me saying, the government. Right. We get protein in beans, in nuts and in vegetables. So, and one of the best forms of protein is hemp seeds. So you could sprinkle it on a salad, and I'm not lacking any protein, so
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. Another misconception would be we don't have anything to eat but grass and salad.
Right.
But nowadays, as you probably know,
Wide
there's
variety.
a plethora of foods
Yeah.
that vegans are actually gaining weight because there's candy, there's cookies and ice cream. Cashew ice cream is the best.
Yeah.
And so many options for us. Even going out to eat, restaurants are changing.
Every day, more and more options.
Yep.
People are, now that we are a force to be reckoned with almost,
We are, yeah.
then there's a demand and they're meeting it. Consumers
Yes.
are being met with these new products that are great.
Yep, absolutely. I remember when I first became vegan, I'm like, what is this? Smoked tempeh. It was on a sandwich. And it was like the TLT, tempeh. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the tempeh lettuce tomato with some vegan mayo on it. There you go. It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it's not a matter of missing out on anything. It, it's not a sacrifice,
No.
I would say. I think that's what people tend to think, and with that, they're thinking more about themselves. And then
Right.
thinking, if you think it's a sacrifice, then it might be. But when you think about how much you're helping the animals, it's a whole different way of thinking about it.
The animals,
Put them first.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and the planet.
So talk
Mother
a little
Nature.
bit. Yeah, Mother Nature, our home. We want to sustain our home for a very long time to come.
Right.
And as we're starting to look at that more and more seriously, so what do you see maybe as the long-term impact of going vegan or not going vegan in terms of the future of our planet and our overall
Well,
humans as well?
Well, a lot of people say, where are all the animals going to go if we're going to stop eating them? It's not going to happen overnight, people, It's going to be a slow transition, but it is happening. And, those animals, they have feelings too. They don't
They have rights.
give their lives to us. We take it. They run. They squeal. They scream.
They have emotions.
So that's, one thing that about going veganism is what we are actually showing compassion to an animal. If we show compassion to animals, we can show compassion to each other.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have peace.
Yeah.
I do. But not going vegan is going to really hurt our planet because we have a water supply that's depleting. And it's not less showers that we need to take or not watering our lawn. It's stop eating meat. Stop eating anything that's animal because
so many resources go to
2,400
that.
gallons of water takes to make 1 pound of beef.
Yeah.
So you've got that there too. So we need to think about our Mother Earth because she's hurting.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
can't sustain that for
No,
long.
she can't.
She can't. So as people are becoming more conscious in that particular way, making better choices, and veganism is on the rise, what do you see? We talk about sort of from a soul level or from a really bigger picture level in terms of how we're evolving, what we want to see happen in terms of us as sentient beings relating to other sentient beings. Will this represent a shift in consciousness? Are we looking for maybe a critical mass, which would move things in another direction?
Well, I sure hope so. I can't see how somebody could welcome a dog into their home and bring it in as a family and look into their eyes and then eat meat. It doesn't make sense to me. True animal lovers love all animals. It's called actually speciesism. When you pick and select the ones you want to love.
Right.
You want to love a cat and a dog. Oh, and look at that piglet. It's so cute. But eventually, that piglet might grow and be on somebody's plate. And that's something we have to think about. We are hurting the animal. They don't, like I said, they don't want to die.
Yeah.
So if
There's
you're
no difference animal to animal.
Exactly.
We're all one.
And by eating animals, you're eating agony. And there's some kind of chemical thing that goes on physically and scientifically that you're putting into your body. You're putting fear into your body, eating death.
Yeah, a lot of people are in a little bit of denial around that, right? There's that disconnect because they don't see it. Yeah. And maybe some magical thinking that it goes from this beautiful living being to that flesh on their plate.
Yes, there's a lot
But we're
of
here to
disconnect.
put it all together so people at least have their eyes open. And there's just lots of conditioning. It's been like this for a long time. Yeah. And it's sort of easy to justify it that way.
Thank you, Michele.
We have some opinions. We have some opinions, but all for the greater good.
Right, that's true.
So if people are thinking about this, what can they do? What are some small first steps so they can make that, you know, again, maybe not overnight, drastic changes, but those small steps towards veganism?
Right. Well, there are some in the vegan community that say, no baby steps, you got to go right into it. I didn't do that. I took baby steps. So I haven't eaten pork in since 1999 because I saw something on TV. So that was off the table a long time ago, literally off the table, off my plate. Then 1 month I decided not to stop eating red meat. The next month I stopped eating chicken. And then the month after that, no fish. So that's 3 months. And then it took me a year to become vegan. So I was still drinking milk. I was a big milk fan and a cheesemonger, right? And ice cream, but I didn't know the connection. That was when I went to Woodstock Farm Animal Sanctuary, and they had a crate that showed it was a calf crate where they put baby calves after being ripped away from their mamas.
Taken.
That's the dairy industry. There's death in dairy as well, and eggs.
I think for a lot of people, if they saw that, it would just only take one time, right? For them, you can't unsee.
Yeah.
I think it was even Paul McCartney said, if the walls of slaughterhouses were transparent, made of glass,
yes,
a lot of people would think differently.
They would go vegetarian. Now put the glass also on the dairy farms and the egg farms where they actually, the baby chicks are not needed. And there's a demise for them, a very terrible one.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, they can look that up.
You know, it's so unpleasant, of course, and nobody wants to think about it. So we don't want to dwell on that because it makes everybody really uncomfortable. And the reason for that is that in our heart, we know it's not okay. It bothers our conscience. Yes. And often people will get very defensive around that because it's so uncomfortable that they just want to sort of project that outward. And I totally get that, right? We're all part of that. And it's not a matter of judging anyone and their choices. It's just a matter of holding a higher vision. You know, and putting ourselves in their shoes, in the animal's hoofs and feet, and having empathy, and then following up on that with action. You know, aligning our actions with our beliefs. And you know, if we say we love animals, you know, making that fully within integrity to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So. So you actually are part of an animal rights and an animal advocacy group. Do you want to talk about that in general, what that is, what an animal advocacy group does, and tell us about your organization?
The group that I help organize events for and protests and things like that is called EARTH.
EARTH, great, and that's an acronym.
Yes, for Environmental Animal Rights Team of Hoboken. And I put things together, help with two friends of mine, Noel Reyes and Michele Klein, and they put together things like mixers, social events. We also do protests. We've done the the circus protest. I think it was in Edison, Garden Brothers. And just recently, the nosy law came through. So if I understood correctly, it's not on the agenda, but then they're not allowed to have animals in circuses in New Jersey anymore.
I think I heard something about that, yeah.
That's huge,
yes.
Because those elephants are not treated well, and I don't want to discuss that at the moment. It's hard to understand. But that's what our group does. And there's other animal rights communities as well in New Jersey, in New York City, all over the world too.
They're popping up.
I think Israel is
Yeah.
Big on veganism, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
Europe, more so, like England.
I think
I
so.
read some.
For sure, definitely Israel. But there's going to be a big animal rights march September 1st. And we had one last year. There were, I think it's worldwide, but in New York City, I think we had about 3,000 people, and it was not televised.
Didn't make the news.
I mean, it might have been on
sexy
one
enough,
small segment in a local channel, but it wasn't. It should have been. For me, I think it should have been in the New York Times.
Yeah. Well,
But,
that's we would love to
but
see
they're
that.
but they're they have advertising that they need to withhold with their clients. So they
Well,
want to
that's
be
the good
careful.
in social media. Social media is our media.
Yes.
Grassroots, we can really get it out there. So when you're out there with these movements and these protests, are you seeing receptivity? Are you seeing, well, the numbers of protests are increasing, but
Some people stop. They ask questions. They take the pamphlets. We did something called Farewell. This was for fur. Farewell, as I said goodbye to the furs that I had. I used to wear fur. So we donated them to a rehab for baby animals, orphaned animals, opossums and raccoons and squirrels. They were so adorable. They were really digging into the fur. But we put together these farewells, vigils. Yeah, vigils in Jersey City and Hoboken, and people stop and they. Sometimes we get thank you, and sometimes we thank you to them because thank you for not wearing fur.
Yeah.
So many people are not, but the fur trim is an issue. It's still fur.
it's so pervasive in everything that we take for granted.
Yeah.
People don't even think about it.
Yeah, we don't.
What we're wearing, what we're doing, what we're using.
Exactly.
So if people want to get involved, they can certainly reach out to your organization. They can also search for organizations that are near them, and also maybe it would be great to support some of the animal sanctuaries that I've seen popping up all over. That is also something that is so hopeful and beautiful and makes me cry all the time
Yes.
when I see how amazing it is that people are dedicating their whole life to opening these beautiful sanctuaries to give animals a forever home, to give farm animals, often abused, often neglected, often saved and rescued.
Yes.
And they're nonprofits and they can use our help as well. And at these beautiful sanctuaries, animals are all given names,
Yes,
just like you and I, treated exactly the same. You know, and they get to be known for their names and their
Exactly.
personalities, and they get to be known as beings, no different. So
They're-
it makes me
it's-
cry every time.
It's a wonderful place. You can look the animal in the eye and see another soul.
Doing it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I say to my dogs all the time, I'm doing this for you, you know? And they're like, yes, yes. So we're staying on this hopeful track right now.
Yes.
We're staying inspirational, we're staying hopeful, we're keeping our energy up and our vibe up around this topic because it really is important to do that, because it would be really easy to just sort of get mired and get really depressed.
Yes.
It really
it's
is.
true.
When
Yep.
we think right now what's happening with the beauty, right currently, as we sit here comfortably
speak.
speaking right now. So, all right, we're not going there, but we're sending them light and love right now, and we're also wanting to take action. So, what's a great takeaway for people? What would be, if you had one thing to say that you hope would ring a bell with people, resonate with them? What's that hopeful, inspirational message from this?
Once again, you could do baby steps. It doesn't have to be overnight. The other thing is there's so much. It's plentiful now, the vegan food.
Yeah.
It's plentiful.
So don't let that worry you.
Right. That's not something to be concerned. It's good for the health, your health. It's good for the planet. It's fantastic for the animals. And you just reach out to a local vegan community on Meetup.
Yeah.
You can find us, Earth Environmental Animal Rights Team of Hoboken, on Facebook. We are always posting things that are not just local, but worldwide. And just
So you don't feel alone or
no,
isolated.
right.
Be part of a
Because
community.
sometimes you do, especially on holidays like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
People can
You're in
check
the
out
minority.
to check out the animal sanctuaries. Sometimes
Yeah.
they have Thanksgiving. And
Yeah,
we
you were
feed
telling
the
me about
turkeys.
that. The opposite, doing the opposite.
Yes.
Feeding the turkeys, making them the stars
It's-
of the meal as
it's
those beautiful
heavenly.
living beings. Wow, how great is that?
These gobble, gobble, gobble. And I'm like, whoop, whoop, whoop. They're so excited. Their feathers fluff up. And it's like, wow, it's a different, you're seeing them as, like I said before, a soul.
Yeah.
A soul that we share the planet with.
Yeah, I think if we all did that, right? Eye to eye, heart to heart, saw beyond the feathers and the fur that in that skin is an equal, beautiful being with a right to live out their lives the way that they choose to. Yeah. So that's all wonderful.
And give me the feathers because I love them so much. And I love them on the animal happily as they walk around going gobble, gobble, gobble.
So go vegan, do it for the animals.
Yes.
Thank you, Susan, so much for
you,
everything
Michele.
that you've shared.
This is really wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the work you're doing in the world.
Thanks.
Recently, I visited the Touch Mother Earth Festival at the Mount Eden Retreat and spoke with Vinny and Kirsty of the Self Love Vegan Food Truck and Cafe. Check out what they had to say. Hey, I'm here with Vinny and Kirsty of the Self Love Vegan Food Truck. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about what veganism is and about what you do?
Sure. So veganism essentially is living a life that does not involve using animal products. So we do not exploit the animals for something that they do not actually allow us to give. We take from them. So with veganism, you are living off of the earth and a plant-based life. You do not have animal product clothing, accessories, food, anything that involves that sort.
Yes, and I completely agree with that. We like to live our life by the way of ahimsa, which is causing the least amount of cruelty as possible, as well as instilling compassionate ways in everything that we do.
I absolutely love that, and I'm completely on board with that, so thank you for all that you do. So are you seeing now a current trend, an uptrend in more people turning to veganism, and what do you hope for the future of veganism?
So we have personally seen a very good trend with veganism instilling in a lot of people, especially with our food truck being mobile and bringing vegan awareness to wherever we go. A lot of events that we do, people there are not necessarily always vegan, but they do try our food and they love it, and it plants the seed in their mind that you can still eat amazing food that has nothing to do with animals. So we have seen that with many people, and the future is definitely growing towards a much more compassionate lifestyle. We have experienced that with
Do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
I would say that essentially what we would like to see is for people to understand why the compassion takes place. The mission statement that we like to share with everybody is that you don't truly love yourself until you begin to love other sentient beings. So once you do that, you allow all sorts of compassion and love and understanding into your life, which is what veganism is all about.
Yeah, it's really a lifestyle choice. And it really isn't about compassion. It really is about coming from respect and love and from the heart. I believe that as well. For all sentient beings, it's what we need to do. It's how we need to evolve. I would really say that as well.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, so it's absolutely wonderful. So this is really a perfect fit for your being here as well, given that this event is about harmony with the earth, being earth-friendly, loving the earth, green, sustainable living. What do you say about that in terms of the future, how veganism, which is hopefully here to stay, will help the earth even further?
Veganism definitely being here to stay promotes a healthier world without taking so much to provide for others to just give it right back to yourself. You're cutting out the waste that is involved with trying to take land that can be used for something that is essentially what it's supposed to be in the first place. It's just what it is. The plants and the earth around.
That's exactly what it's about. That goes right back to the earth.
Absolutely.
She is us.
If you are interested in understanding the imprint of veganism, all you have to do is look up the statistics on animal agriculture and understand what it does to the rainforests and the planet. You just look it up, you'll understand there's so many statistics out there of animal agriculture or
If someone is out there on the fence, they're thinking right now about making that step into veganism, what's maybe one or two tips, some first steps and actions, maybe even small ones, that they can take?
So understand that it is a process. Everyone has their own programmed habits from their way of life they've had for possibly many years. So just don't beat yourself up if you're trying to go vegan and you slip up in the beginning. Understand that it's a process. Just reflect on the way you feel when you eat animal products. Understand that your body will be, rejecting it essentially.
Responding to that.
Right.
Tuned into that.
So if you
Listen
reflect
to your
on
body.
that, yep, you will
And your
understand.
conscience.
Yep, the whole nine. Definitely.
Oh, wonderful message. Any final words, Kirsty?
I think you guys pretty much hit it on that. Yeah, that's great.
That's excellent. So what is your website? Is it self-love?
We have a website you can build right now.
Okay.
It will be selflovevegan.com.
Stay tuned for the website.
Right.
But where can they find you?
Our Instagram and our Facebook. Search Self-Love Vegan. You will find us there.
In lots of places this summer.
Yes, all over with the
Yes.
truck. We also just opened a cafe in Bridgeton, New Jersey at 40 East Commerce Street. And yeah, you'll find us all over this summer. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see every event that we're going to be at in New Jersey.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Thanks for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Awesome sauce in the world. Thank you.
Go vegan.
We're wrapping up another enlightening show. If our topic resonated for you, I encourage you to learn more and seriously consider going vegan. Whatever you do, remember to spread a little kindness to both people and animals and pay it forward today. Thank you, Monday Morning Flowers, for the beautiful floral arrangement. Thank you for watching. Visit MicheleGranberg.com and join me next time on Positive Energy.